Have you ever felt invisible? Have you worked so hard, given everything you had, sacrificed nights, weekends, moments with your family, and still been treated as if you didn't exist? As if you were just another replaceable piece in the machine? I lived that for 5 long years. And what I'm about to tell you today isn't just my story. It's the story of millions of people who wake up every day, go to work, deliver incredible results, and go home with that painful feeling that nothing they do really matters. But let me tell you something. There's a specific moment where everything changes, where the truth comes to light. And in my life, that moment happened at a corporate gala when my boss laughed and said, "She's a nobody," until my name echoed through that entire ballroom. My name is Sophia Martins. I'm 32 years old, and this is my real story of transformation, humiliation, and the most unexpected triumph of my life. Grab your coffee, your tea, get comfortable, because in the next 40 minutes you'll understand how a single phrase can either destroy you or set you completely free. And at the end, I'm going to give you a challenge that could change your life like it changed mine. Ready? Let's go. Act 1, The Invisible Years, 3:30 to 12 o'clock. When it all began. 5.5 years ago, I was unemployed. The economy was in crisis. I had just graduated with a degree in business administration with a specialization in strategic management, and doors seemed closed everywhere I looked. For months of sending out resumes, frustrating interviews, that horrible feeling that your diploma is worthless in the real world. Until the opportunity came. Executive assistant at Stellar Corporation, one of the largest technology and consulting companies in the country. The salary wasn't amazing, but it was a foot in the door. It was the chance I needed. At the interview, I met Ricardo Almeida, VP of Operations, mid-40s, impeccable suit, that smile of someone who knows they're in charge. He quickly flipped through my resume and said, "You seem dedicated. That's what I need. Someone who wears the company shirt, who doesn't watch the clock. We work hard here, but those who stand out grow fast. Understand?" I believed him. God, how I believed him. The consuming routine. Let me describe a typical day of my life during those 5 years. 5 a.m., the alarm goes off. It's still dark outside. First thing I do, grab my phone and check emails. There are always some. Always. "Sophia, I need to reschedule the 9 a.m. meeting." "Handle it." 5:15 a.m. Quick coffee while I'm already on the computer, reorganizing schedules, sending emails to 3 directors explaining the change, trying to fit that meeting into a schedule that's already been packed for weeks. 6:30 a.m. Gym? What gym? Relationship? I barely have time to call my mom. 7:30 a.m. at the office. Usually the first to arrive. I prepare the meeting room, review the presentations Ricardo will give because he never reviews them, print documents, organize coffee. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., a hurricane. Phones ringing, executives demanding things for yesterday, crises that pop up out of nowhere and that, magically, become my responsibility to solve. You know that strategic report the VP is going to present to the board? Who did the research, cross-referenced the data, created the graphs, wrote the recommendations? Me. That super important meeting that saved a $5 million contract? Who stayed up until 3 a.m. preparing the material? Me. The system that almost crashed and would have affected 200 clients? Who coordinated IT, legal, and customer service to solve it in 6 hours? Me. The price of invisibility. But you know what the recognition was? "Sophia, the coffee is cold." "Sophia, this isn't the font I asked for in the presentation." "Sophia, I need you to work on Saturday." Something came up. My friend stopped calling me. "You can never go out anyway, Sophia." My 3-year relationship ended. "You're married to your job. There's no room for me." My mom, in the quick calls I could make. "Honey, are you okay? Your voice sounds tired." And the worst part, I thought this was normal. That it was the price of success. That if I worked hard enough, one day I would be recognized. Ricardo received awards, praise, promotions. Behind the scenes, I was already taking on responsibilities that weren't even mine. Strategic analyses, negotiations with suppliers, internal conflict resolution. Once, I suggested a change in the project approval process that could save weeks. I made a complete presentation with data, projections, case studies. Ricardo glanced at it, literally for 5 seconds, and said, "Cool, Sophia, but leave that to me. You don't understand the politics up here." 3 months later, he presented his idea to the board. It was my presentation, word for word, even the graphs were identical. But you know what hurts most? It wasn't him taking the credit. It was me, sitting at my desk, hearing the executives congratulate him on his brilliant strategic vision, and saying nothing. Because I was afraid of losing my job, afraid of being labeled as problematic, afraid that maybe I really wasn't good enough. The report that changed everything. 8 months ago, the company was facing an operational crisis. Costs skyrocketing, deadlines exploding, dissatisfied clients. The atmosphere was tense. There were rumors of mass layoffs. I saw the problem, saw it with crystal clarity. It wasn't lack of talent. It wasn't lack of resources. It was the process. We had 17 approval levels for simple decisions. 3 departments doing the same work without communicating. Systems that didn't talk to each other. For 3 weeks, I worked on a report. A 47-page report with complete analysis, diagnosis, root cause, practical solutions, implementation timeline, savings projection. I worked in the early morning hours. On weekends, I interviewed people from different sectors, passing it off as organizational climate research. I cross-referenced 5 years of data. I ran simulations. It was impeccable. I put it on Ricardo's desk with a note. This could be the solution we need. A week later, I asked about the report. "Oh, that? Sophia, you're great with operations, but strategy is another conversation. We don't have time for paperwork from assistants right now. But thanks for the effort." He hadn't even read it. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, crying from frustration, I made a decision that terrified me. I sent the report directly to the CEO's office and, by copy, to the 6 members of the board of directors. I used my corporate email. I put my name on it. I signed as Sophia Martins, Executive Assistant, Operations Department. Email subject: Operational Restructuring Proposal, Independent Analysis. I clicked send and almost threw up from fear. For 2 weeks, nothing. No response. No comment. I thought I'd be fired. Every time Ricardo called me, my heart raced. But nothing happened. The report seemed to have fallen into a black hole. I had failed. Once again. Or at least that's what I thought. The invitation. That wasn't an invitation. 3 weeks before the annual corporate gala, I received an email from HR. "Sophia Martins, your presence is required at the event on November 15th for logistical support and operational coordination. Please confirm attendance." It wasn't an invitation. It was a work summons. Meanwhile, Ricardo was already excited. "This year I'm going to kill it, Sophia. I already know I'm getting the VP of the Year award. Pick up my navy blue tuxedo from the dry cleaners, the Italian one." The event was the most pompous thing in the corporate world. The Grand Magnificence Hotel. Gala dinner. The 300 most important people in the company and strategic partners. Awards. Speeches. I had gone in previous years to stay in the kitchen coordinating catering, solving microphone problems, making sure everything worked perfectly so the important people could shine. But something inside me changed. Maybe it was the ignored report. Maybe it was realizing that 5 years had passed and I was still invisible. Maybe it was simply exhaustion. Exhaustion from being functional instead of human. I decided, I'm not going to work at this event. I'm going to be at this event. The transformation. I spent half my salary on a dress. Long, dark red, elegant. Nothing extravagant, but definitely not backstage crew clothing. I made a hair appointment, something I hadn't done in years. The girl's eyes widened when she saw my hair. "Girl, when was the last time you took care of this?" Professional makeup. Nails done. High heels I could barely walk in. My mom, on the video call, cried, "Honey, you look beautiful. It seems like years since I've seen you smile like that." It was true. I had forgotten what it was like to feel beautiful, to feel seen. The night of the event arrived. The arrival. When I got out of the taxi in front of the Grand Magnificence Hotel, my hands were shaking. I almost turned back, almost ran away. But I took a deep breath. You deserve to be here. You built this company as much as any executive. The glass doors opened. The ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers poured golden light. There were tables decorated with flower arrangements that cost more than my rent. Waiters circulated with French champagne. And the people, everyone in formal wear. Executives, directors, VPs, the CEO himself. When I entered, something strange happened. People looked at me. Not with that look of, oh, the assistant, but with genuine curiosity. Who is she? For the first time in 5 years, I wasn't invisible. Fragments of the night. I walked through the ballroom as if in a dream. I grabbed a glass of champagne, something I never did, always too busy to drink. The liquid bubbled, golden and cold. I recognized people. The financial director I exchanged emails with daily but had never really talked to. The IT manager I constantly helped with system problems. The HR coordinator who always approved my overtime without question. Sophia, wow, you look different. What a beautiful dress. It was Mariana from finance. We talked. Really talked. Not about work, but about life. Hobbies. Dreams. Normal things that normal people talk about. For 20 minutes, I forgot I was at a corporate event. I was just living. Ricardo's group. Then I saw it. On the other side of the ballroom, near the premium bar, was Ricardo, surrounded by other VPs and some executives from partner companies. Whiskey glasses in hand. Loud laughter. That posture of masters of the universe. Something inside me said, keep your distance. Don't ruin the night. I should have listened. But curiosity, or maybe destiny, led me in that direction. Not directly to them, but close enough. I went to the canopy table, with my back to the group, pretending to choose between salmon and brie cheese. And that's when I heard it. The words that froze my soul. The voice was female, with a European accent, probably one of the partner executives. Ricardo, I have to say, I'm impressed with your department's results. 34% increase in efficiency, 12 million in savings. How do you build your team? What's your secret? My hand stopped in midair, holding the small plate. Ricardo's laugh. That laugh I knew so well. The laugh of someone about to brag, to inflate their own ego. Ah, Marina, it's a matter of leadership, you know. You need to know how to delegate, how to demand. I have key people, of course. People who think strategically. He paused, took a sip of whiskey. And then there's the operational staff. My assistant, for example. Sophia. She takes care of the boring stuff, the details. She's efficient, I'll tell you that. My heart began to race. But you know how it is. She's a nobody. Like, she's not someone you notice, you understand? But she's useful to have around. You press a button, she solves it. Functional. Laughter. Several laughs. A man added, oh yes, every executive needs one of those. Someone to hold down the fort while we think about strategy. More laughter. Ricardo! Exactly. She's good at what she does, don't get me wrong. But she's not the type of person you put in important meetings. She doesn't have presence, you know. She's more of a backstage person. A nobody. The words echoed in my head like a funeral bell. 5 years. 5 years of my life. Tears burned my eyes. The champagne glass trembled in my hand. For a second, I thought about turning around and throwing the drink in his face. Screaming. Making a scene. But my feet wouldn't move. 5 years sacrificing everything. My health. My relationships. My youth. My early mornings. My weekends. To be a nobody. Useful. A button you press. The tears began to fall. I put the plate back on the table, my hands shaking so much I almost knocked everything over. I needed to get out of there. I needed to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Dinner will be served momentarily, and shortly after we'll have the award ceremony. The master of ceremonies, voice over the sound system. I quickly wiped away the tears. Took a deep breath. No, I'm not going to cry. Not here. Not for him. The surreal dinner. The tables were assigned. I looked for my name. Table 23. Far from the stage. Far from the important people. Of course. I sat between people I didn't know. A logistics manager from another branch. A marketing analyst. Common people like me. The food was incredible. Carpaccio appetizer, main course of risotto with shrimp. Mousse dessert. Italian wine. I couldn't taste anything. Ricardo's words hammered. A nobody. The logistics manager next to me tried to make conversation. First time at the event? I forced a smile. No, but first time sitting down. He laughed, not understanding. The awards ceremony begins. After dessert, the lights dimmed. A spotlight illuminated the stage. The master of ceremonies returned. And now, the moment everyone's been waiting for. The Stellar Corporation Awards Ceremony. Polite applause. To inaugurate the evening, we have the honor of welcoming our CEO, Dr. Alexander Ferreira. Dr. Alexander climbed onto the stage. 70-something, gray hair, upright posture. A man who breathed authority but also wisdom. I had seen him in person only 3 times in 5 years. Always from afar. Always as a shadow. Good evening, everyone. What a joy to be here celebrating another year of achievements. Standard corporate speech. Numbers, growth. Thanks to shareholders, blah, blah, blah. My mind was elsewhere. Thinking about how I was going to leave that job. How I was going to start over at 32. If I had the strength for it. But then Dr. Alexander said something that brought me back. And this year, we have something special. Something that I, personally, proposed to the board. He made a dramatic pause. 4 years, we've awarded the obvious ones. The leaders. The VPs. The directors. And that's right, they deserve it. But what about those who work in the shadows? Those who build the foundations upon which leaders stand? My heart began to beat faster without me. Understanding why. That's why we created a new award. The Behind the Scenes Innovation Award. Murmurs throughout the room. This award recognizes not who's in the spotlight, but who illuminates the spotlight. Someone whose work, often silent, transforms our operation in a profound way. He looked at a card in his hands. 8 months ago, I received a report. A report I didn't request. From someone who didn't have the authority to send it. My breathing stopped. No, it can't be. A 47-page report. Complete analysis of our operational processes. Precise diagnosis. Practical solutions. And you know what we did? He smiled. The board and I read every line. Every line. And we were impressed. Not just with the technical quality, but with the courage. The courage of someone without a voice to send that directly to me. Tears returned to my eyes, but now they were different. We implemented 87% of that report's recommendations. And the result? Savings of $12.4 million in 6 months. 34% increase in operational efficiency. 40% reduction in project approval time. And most importantly, 0 layoffs. Actually, we hired 30 new people. The room was in absolute silence. That report saved jobs. It saved his company. And it was written by someone many of you here probably don't even know the name of. He looked directly at the audience. The Behind the Scenes Innovation Award, accompanied by an immediate promotion to the position of Director of Operational Innovation, goes to... Time stopped. Sophia Martins. Act 3. The Echo of My Name. 28:00. 38:00. The moment the world stopped. Sophia Martins. My name. My name echoing through that ballroom of 300 people through a professional sound system. Sophia Martins. The spotlights began to move, searching. People looked around, confused. Who? Who is Sophia Martins? I was frozen in my chair, literally unable to move. This isn't happening. It's a dream. It's a nightmare. It's... Sophia, you. The logistics manager next to me looked at me with wide eyes. The people at my table began to stand up, making way, pointing. It's her. She's here. The spotlights found me. And that entire gigantic ballroom turned to look at me. Ricardo's look. But before getting up, before taking the first step, my eyes automatically searched for one person. Ricardo. He was at table 3, VIP table, close to the stage. And his expression. God, I'll remember it forever. Mouth open. Eyes wide. The whiskey glass stopped in midair, forgotten. His face alternating between pale white and red with embarrassment. The European executive next to him, Marina, now looked at me with a completely different expression. Admiration. And when she turned to Ricardo, I clearly saw the contempt in her eyes. She whispered something to him that I couldn't hear from there, but by the way he shrank, she had just destroyed him with words. The longest walk of my life. I stood up. My legs were shaking. The high heels suddenly seemed to be 6 inches tall. I started walking toward the stage. Each step was liberation. 5 years of pain. 5 years of invisibility. 5 years being useful instead of valued. Each step erased a bit of that pain. People began to applaud. Slowly at first. Then louder. Then everyone standing. Standing ovation. For me. For Sophia Martins. I passed by Ricardo's table. Our eyes met for a second. A single second. I didn't smile. Didn't make a face. Just looked. And in that look was everything. You called me a nobody. And here I am. I climbed the stage steps. Dr. Alexander was waiting for me with a genuine and warm smile. Sophia, it's an honor. A real honor. He handed me a beautiful trophy. Heavy crystal, with internal lights that shone blue and gold. And there, engraved, Sophia Martins, Behind-the-Scenes Innovation Award, Excellence in Operational Transformation. My name. In crystal. Permanent. He hugged me. It wasn't a fake corporate hug. It was a real hug from someone who genuinely recognizes value. Your report was one of the bravest things I've seen in 40 years of career. Thank you for not giving up on us, he whispered in my ear. I couldn't hold it in. The tears fell. My speech. He handed me the microphone. 300 pairs of eyes on me. The cameras recording. The company always recorded the event for internal distribution. The expectant silence. I wiped away the tears. Took a deep breath. I don't even know how to begin. My voice trembled, but it was there. It was being heard. For 5 years, I woke up every day at 5 a.m. Worked late. Sacrificed a lot. My health. My relationships. Important moments with my family. And you know why I did it? I looked at the audience. Because I believed that if I worked hard enough, one day I would be seen. One day I would be recognized. One day my work would matter. Pause. But the truth is I spent my days feeling invisible. Feeling that nothing I did really mattered. That I was just functional. My voice became firmer. And today, a few hours ago, while I was picking up a canopy at that table over there, I pointed to the spot. I heard someone describe me as a nobody. Someone useful. But a nobody. Someone you press a button, and they solve problems, but who isn't worthy of notice. Isn't worthy of being in important meetings. Doesn't have presence. You could hear a pin drop. I looked directly at Ricardo. He was smaller in his chair, hunched over. And you know what those words did? They destroyed me. For 20 minutes, sitting there at table 23, I thought about giving up. I thought that maybe I really wasn't good enough. That my place was really backstage, invisible, functional. I held the trophy tightly. But now, holding this, I understand something fundamental. My value never depended on who could see me. My voice became strong, clear, powerful. There are people in this world who are blind to others' brilliance. Not because the brilliance doesn't exist, but because they choose not to see. Because recognizing others' value would mean admitting they're not as special as they think. Applause began, but I raised my hand, asking to continue. And that says everything about them. Nothing about you. I looked at the tables in the back, at the common people like me. How many of you here feel invisible? How many work hard, give your blood, and go home feeling that nothing matters? I saw heads nodding, saw tears on other faces. I see you. You're not invisible. You are the foundations. And without foundations, the whole castle collapses. I raised the trophy. This award isn't just mine. It's for every analyst who stays late, every assistant who solves crises, every coordinator who holds things together, every person who works in the shadow while others shine in the light. The ovation was deafening. People standing. People crying. I saw executives applauding with genuine respect. I saw Dr. Alexander with tears in his eyes. And for those who have the power to recognize but choose not to, you're losing. Losing talent. Losing loyalty. And more importantly, losing the chance to build something real. I looked once more at Ricardo. I forgave, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to move forward without carrying resentment. But I'll never forget, and I'll never be invisible again. I put the microphone back on the stand and just stood there for a moment, absorbing. The ovation continued for more than a full minute. The minutes after the stage. When I came down, it was beautiful chaos. People surrounding me. Handshakes. Hugs. People I'd never seen crying and saying, "You spoke for me." Mariana from finance. Hug me tight. 5 years working alongside you and I never knew. Never really saw you. I'm sorry. The IT manager. Sophia, those solutions you sent me by email, you saved my skin so many times. Thank you. 3 female executives from partner companies handed me cards. If you ever think about changing scenery, call me. Our company needs someone like you. Salary is negotiable. Sophia, you have a rare talent. Let's talk. But the conversation I needed to have was still to come. The conversation with Ricardo. He approached. His face still red. Hands in his pockets. Body language completely different from the confident man of hours ago. Sophia, congratulations. Seriously. I didn't know about the report. Nobody told me. I could have exploded. Screamed. But you know what I felt? Pity. Ricardo, you received the report. It was on your desk. You chose not to read it. There's a huge difference between not knowing and choosing not to see. He tried another approach. Look, that comment earlier. It was bar talk, you know. I didn't mean. You did. You meant it, because that's exactly what you think. And you know what? Thank you. He blinked, confused. Thank you. Thank you because your words set me free. For 5 years, I sought your approval. I worked twice as hard trying to make you see me, trying to make you value me. And today, when you called me a nobody, something broke inside me. I took a step closer. And when it broke, I could finally see I didn't need your validation. I never did. I have value regardless of whether you can see it or not. He opened his mouth to respond, but I continued. You'll continue being VP for a while, I imagine. You'll continue having your position, your status. But you'll need a new assistant. And I sincerely hope you treat the next person better than you treated me. I turned my back and started to walk away. He called out, Sophia, I'm sorry. Really? I stopped, turned my head slightly. I accept your apology, Ricardo. But it doesn't change anything. What you did isn't something that's erased with a sorry. It's something you learn from. And I moved forward. Act 4, the after, 38:00, 40:00. 3 days later, the following Monday, I received a summons from HR. My heart raced, old habits, fear of being punished. But when I entered the room, there was a contract. Director of Operational Innovation. Salary, 180% higher than before. My own team, 12 people. Discretionary budget to implement changes. Direct report to the CEO. Welcome to the leadership team, Sophia. Dr. Alexander is eager to work with you. I cried in the bathroom for 15 minutes after signing. 1 week later, Ricardo was relocated. Smaller subsidiary. Another state. Technically not fired, but everyone knew what that meant. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel revenge. I felt relief. Relief that he couldn't do to another person what he did to me. 2 weeks later, the emails started. Dozens. Then hundreds. From assistants. Your story gave me courage to apply for that promotion I've deserved for 2 years. From coordinators. I asked for a raise. I used your arguments about value. I got 40% more. From analysts. I left my toxic job. I'm scared but hopeful. Thank you. People from other companies. I saw the video of your speech. Someone had leaked it online. It changed my perspective on work. I didn't just change my life. I started a wave. Today. For months have passed. I'm in my new office. With a window, first time in my life. My team is incredible. We've implemented 23 more operational improvements. My mom visits every weekend now. I finally have my daughter back. I started dating again. A guy from the innovation department of another company. He treats me like a person. And I sleep 8 hours a night. But most importantly, when I look in the mirror, I see someone. Not a nobody. Someone. My final message to you. If you've made it this far with me, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. For giving value to my story. And now I need to ask you some questions. Are you feeling invisible at your job? In your relationship? In your life? Are you seeking validation from people who choose not to see you? Are you waiting for permission to shine? Stop. Your value doesn't diminish because of someone's inability to recognize you. Never. You don't need permission to know you're incredible. You don't need external validation to be certain of your talent. My challenge to you, do it now. Grab a paper, or open the Notes app on your phone, and write 3 real things you did in the last month that had an impact. It can be at work, at home, in someone's life. 3 real contributions. Did you write it? Now look at that list and answer honestly. Are you being recognized for it? If the answer is no, you have 2 choices. First, fight for recognition where you are. Have that difficult conversation. Send that courageous email. Ask for that promotion. Second, look for a place that sees your value. Leave the toxic. Seek alignment. Both require immense courage. Both are valid. Both are worthy. And now my request. If this story touched you, share it. Share it with that friend who's exhausted at work. With that cousin who's never recognized. With that colleague who shines but nobody sees. Comment below. What was your turning point? When did you decide to stop being invisible? Or if you're still in that struggle, tell me. Let's create a community of people who refuse to be nobody. Subscribe to the channel if you want more real stories of transformation, overcoming, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And hit the bell, because every week I bring a new story. My last words. My name is Sophia Martins. For 5 years, I was a nobody. Today I'm someone. Not because an award validated me, but because I chose to validate myself. And you. Are you ready to make that choice? Your name can echo. You just need to have the courage to speak. See you in the next video. And remember, you were never invisible. You were just shining at the wrong frequency. Shine at your own frequency. Bye, and thank you for being here with me.